If you think making $1 million before the age of 22 is only possible for trust fund kids, I'm here to prove you wrong. I went from earning $18.50 an hour folding clothes in retail and serving food at restaurants to building a business that made me over $3.5 million in my first year. So I hit my first $1 million in profit before I turned age 22. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I did it. All the strategies that I used, the mindset shifts that made all the difference, and also the step-by-step plan that you can follow to start building serious wealth while you're still young. So let's rewind to where it all started. I was 21 years old. I was broke. I was working a couple of minimum wage jobs, and I had just graduated from uni. Now, at the time, I was living in a flat. I've got 4 flatmates at this time, and I had about $5,000 to my name saved from years of part-time jobs. Honestly, you name the job, I did it. And back then, I had no connections, no business background, pretty much had no clue to do anything. And one day I was doom scrolling on Instagram and I came across this influencer wearing a piece of shapewear, and I really liked the product. So I went and bought the product for myself, and then I also had this random thought. What if I sold this product myself? And also, seeing as I purchased this way from seeing this influencer, what if I also use the same marketing strategies that got me to purchase and sell this way to other people? So that one moment of curiosity sparked what would eventually become a multi-million-dollar business. Now, I remember telling my sister about this idea. I've got one sister and I really value her opinion. And she said to me, Iya, no one's going to buy that from you. It's actually a really weird product to sell. But then I also thought to myself, what do I have to lose? I mean, I'm working these minimum wage jobs, a bunch of really odd jobs, to be honest. I'm living in a flat with 4 other people. The startup costs to do this are so low, so why don't I just give this a go? So I started researching shapewear suppliers online, and the very same day I ordered 20 pieces of shapewear. I created a Shopify website for my online store using the free trial. And once those products arrived to me, I sent out a few of those units to people on Instagram because that's how I purchased in the first place as a consumer. Now, my original goal was so conservative. My goal was to sell 10 units of shapewear a week. Like for me, I was like, that's going to be really great. I just want to sell 10 units a week. I was getting the shapewear for $19. I was selling them for $49, making a $30 profit per unit. So I thought to myself, if I could sell 10 pieces a week, that would be $300 in my pocket passive income. So I started off with just a few orders a week, which turned into 10 to 20 sales a day, which I was actually very excited about, 10 to 20 orders a day. And I continued working with micro influencers on Instagram. I updated my website. I improved my product photos. I increased my pricing. So I started off pricing them at $49 and slowly inched them up. I ended up sort of landing on the $79 mark. And I also paid really close attention to what was working and focused on whatever was working. So after a couple of months, I ramped up to selling 100 to 200 pieces of shapewear a day, bringing in around $8,000 to $20,000 a day. And that's when I knew I was onto something really big. So from months 7 to 12, things really began to compound. I kept reinvesting every cent back into the business to buy more inventory. And I also expanded my influencer marketing, working with larger and larger influencers. I improved the product based on customer feedback. I ended up finding a Facebook ad agency to help take over my ads, which I was running prior all by myself. Now, if you know me, I'm a big fan of taking calculated risks. I really encourage trying things out and learning from the results. Then it came the game changer. So at around 12 months in, I made the scariest and biggest decision of my life. I invested $300,000 into a paid collaboration with Kylie Jenner. So influencer marketing had already been working so well for me, and I really wanted to just go all in on this. I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking, I already know this is going to work. It's just a lot of money, but I know it's going to work. Now, that single collaboration brought in over $500,000 in sales in the first 2 months, and it really catapulted the brand to a whole new level. I got global media coverage, which is just something you can't really even put a price on. I mean, to get on every single news platform in the world, how much is that worth? I started getting speaking gigs all over the world. I even landed my own TV show, and this was the start of building my personal brand. So I'm 22 years old. I've sold over 100,000 pieces of shapewear now, generated over $3.5 million in that first year. And all I could think about was I proved my sister wrong. And my sister's probably thinking, oh God, I was really wrong. Now, I want to break down the 5 core strategies that made all of this possible. So, first, I did not try to invent something brand new. I actually chose a product that already had a proven demand. I mean, shapewear. Shapewear was an existing product. I saw it on Instagram. I wanted the product, and I thought maybe other people will want this product as well. Secondly, I started before I felt ready. So my online store was really, really basic. My product photos were DIY. I was doing everything on my phone, and I did get a little camera to take some quality photos on. I seriously had no idea what I was doing back then, but I thought I would just launch anyway. What gave me the confidence was that the startup costs were so low. And third, I focused on just one thing. So I focused on one niche, one product category, one marketing channel, Instagram, and also one core audience rather than being really split. So this clarity really allowed me to focus and get really, really good. And fourth, I reinvested every dollar back into the business. I was selling millions of dollars worth of shapewear out of my flat that I shared with 4 flatmates, but I had pretty much no lifestyle upgrades, not for a while anyway, not for the first few years. So no flashy spending besides a $350,000 car, which was a treat to myself. But apart from that one splurge, I honestly lived like a broke person. Fifth, I went all in as soon as I could. So as soon as our sales started growing, I knew I had to quit my other jobs in order to really focus and scale up. I prioritized branding and marketing, I built systems, and I started growing a team, which felt really foreign to me because I was only 22 at the time. Now, just as important as the strategies were the mindset shifts that I had to make. So I had to move from thinking like an employee to thinking like an owner. I stopped trading time for money and I started building systems that could generate income even when I wasn't working. I had to let go of perfectionism and focused on progress. I'm actually a really impatient person, which is sort of a blessing and also a curse. I just want to get things out there and sometimes even before they're done. Sometimes it works out for me and other times it gets me in trouble. So if you're impatient like me, think of it as your superpower. And as a result of me wanting to get things done so quickly, I stopped being afraid of taking risks and just started taking smart, calculated risks backed by data and research. Like my decision to work with Kylie Jenner, paying her over $100,000 for the one post on Instagram and Facebook. I calculated that this would work because we'd already done a lot of influencer marketing and I wanted to scale up more. And I also stopped fixating on competitors and cost cutting. So the question became, how do I make more, not how do I save more money? So let's talk about the hard stuff now. So I dealt with imposter syndrome every single day. I didn't always feel like I belonged in the business world, and I often walked into meetings with people much, much older than me, and that was very intimidating. I mean, I could sense this lack of respect because of my age. When you're 22 years old and earning more than somebody in their 60s, it can make the room a little bit awkward. So what helped was focusing on results rather than credentials. And I just let the numbers speak for themselves. My revenue, my growth, my delivery. And yes, sometimes I felt like I had to park my $350,000 car out front to show that I wasn't bluffing so that we can get straight to business. Now, at the start, I also had friends and family who just didn't really understand what I was doing. I mean, my own sister told me nobody would ever buy my product. When I was about to launch my supplement line, I sat in a meeting with somebody who said to me, the supplement market is so saturated, you're never going to be able to stand out among the others. Now, I didn't argue with them. I just decided I would let my results speak for themselves. So if I had to start all over again, here's exactly what I'd do. I'd choose a proven product, I'd launch a minimum viable product and just focus on getting the first 10 customers. Then I'd figure out what's working and I'd double down on that. I'd focus on building a strong brand, utilizing influencer marketing, and also having a strong content strategy. I'd start building up user-generated content and social proof from the very start. Now, if you want step-by-step instructions, this is exactly what I teach in my business training. Just visit the website linked in the description. I've helped thousands of ordinary people start businesses from scratch and quit their 9 to 5, even with a very limited starting budget. So one last thing I'm going to touch on is that starting young can be a real advantage in business. You've got that energy, you've got fewer responsibilities, and you've also got the freedom to make mistakes and bounce back really quickly if you need to. So you probably understand social media much more intuitively, and you're also often more willing to take bold risks. So use all of those things to your advantage. And before I had kids, I used to be able to get in so many hours of work, and I scaled so quickly as a result because I was able to focus all of my time and energy into my business. But it also doesn't matter if you're older because with age comes life experience, better judgment, pattern recognition that can help you avoid costly mistakes. So I've also started businesses after having kids, during having kids. And whilst it is a little bit of a juggle, many business owners have kids. It's very, very common. So either way, the key is to just start, learn fast, and keep going. So I'm going to leave you with this. Making $1 million before 22 isn't easy, but it's absolutely possible. It does require some sacrifice, resilience, and this willingness to learn fast and act faster. But if you can commit to this, stay focused, and remain consistent, you can create financial freedom for yourself while your peers are out there still figuring things out. My student here, Ella, is in her 20s. She was a teacher, and she came to me telling me she wanted to spend more time at home with her son. So she enrolled in my business training, she started selling kids' educational products, and now she's making thousands of dollars every single day from home. My student here, Kayla, started Tribe Skincare in her 20s. She used to be a beauty therapist before that, and she ended up creating a skincare line and selling over $8 million worth of products. And I noticed she actually recently sold her business to a large company as well to get a nice payout. So if you're ready to start your own journey, I've created a step-by-step business masterclass where I walk you through all the exact strategies, the timelines, the tools that I use to build my multi-million-dollar businesses. And if you're looking for more personalized support, I also have a few spots for one-on-one mentorship. So start building today, build something real, and see how far it can take you.